To me, that makes imminent sense. They have the ability, Aberdeen Proving Grounds has the ability and knowledge, more important, to actually look at weapons and determine what is a malfunctioning weapon versus what is a purpose-built unlawful weapon. There are so many, it is so often that we see, I've seen it at the range myself, a weapon will malfunction and go full auto. Well, according to the current law, that's not the weapon's fault. It's your fault. You are in violation of some very serious laws at the moment that spring breaks, that sear breaks, or whatever. And that is just an absurdity to have to depend on this star chamber type of evaluation of the weapon that's going on with BATF versus having the examination videotaped or done by more competent sources such as in Aberdeen.
No, so most people were in favor of what Claire said. I was trying to get a handle on this.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. You were kind enough to give us a PDF of the article, so it is on the JPFO website. Okay. So people can listen to you, then they can go read the article again. Let's talk a little bit more about the magazine. Do you concentrate on specific types of guns or topics?
Well, the SWAT's kind of a strange vehicle. When we first purchased the magazine, I did a down and dirty market study looking at what was available out there in terms of what I considered quality firearms magazines. There aren't many, but when we look at magazines like American Handgunner, which is an outstanding magazine, Soldier of Fortune, some of the others, I realized that the area that wasn't really being covered well was training and tactics. Most magazines, most firearms magazines are what I will call hardware magazines. They have great covers with lasers coming out of and bullets coming out of barrels and great photography, and they focus on the latest and greatest new smoke pole that's just been manufactured. I wanted to take it in a different direction and concentrate a bit more on the software, which is the training and tactics, the responsibility involved in owning a firearm, how to properly employ it, how to properly employ the accessories. So to that extent, we offer a good deal more on the software side, on mindset, training, tactics, where to get the best training, what tactics are proven in given circumstances, and then we also certainly do the hardware reviews of long guns, shotguns, handguns, edged weapons, and the like. We try to throw in a balance of some humor in Louis Auerbach's column and in Brent Wheat's column. Those tend to be a little bit lighter. Claire's column ranges from frighteningly serious to outrageously humorous in terms of her pointing up the foibles of that capital E enemy at the gate of our American freedoms. So from that standpoint, we like to say that we offer more, and I think we do. I think we're more well-rounded than most firearms books. And we certainly offer more in terms of the training and tactics end of the spectrum.
This is Talking to America. Our host today is, actually, I'm the host today. I forgot. Our guest today is Rich Lucibella. He's publisher of SWAT magazine. Rich, getting back to the articles that you're running, something like Claire's article as an example, which is critical of a government agency. You know, when you're around people who are in law enforcement, when they're speaking after hours and they're off the record, do they ever have anything to say that is hopeful for the average American, that there's also some distrust of the federal government?
I would say yes. I would say, in fact, overwhelmingly. Law enforcement officers that I talk to are well aware of the dangers of federalization. They're well aware of the fact that the tools that they want to do their job come at a cost of freedoms. And the individual officers I talk to, quite honestly, walk that tightrope very, very well. They recognize that a new law, which may make a Hibble law for mandatory identification, may make their job a bit easier, but it is at the expense of their wife and their kids' freedoms. And they're troubled by that, and they're thoughtful about it. It's when we get to the agency level, I think that we have the biggest problem, because agencies have no heart, they have no conscience. It's a non-human life form, if you will. And that's where we get into trouble is with the agencies and sometimes with the desk jockeys.
You raised a fascinating point here. How do you suppose this non-human life form came to be in America? We're supposed to be the land of the free.
It is absolutely a factor of bureaucracy. Whether it be a corporate bureaucracy, a military bureaucracy, any organization takes on a life form of itself and seeks to propagate and grow itself. It's the nature of every governmental agency since the history of mankind. I don't know if there's some mystical law that kind of grants it these life form powers, but I think that it's fair to compare it to a life form. There isn't a single governmental agency that we can think of that was ever reined in or dismantled without enormous human energy put into reining it in and dismantling it. When left alone, they will simply grow and grow and grow. And part of that, quite honestly, is our fault. A large part of that is our fault as citizens and voters, because we continue to look to be protected. We continue to look to our pet issues, and we want to. We have a tendency to want everybody to comply with our standards of behavior on our pet issues, but then we don't realize when we do that, that also grants other special interest groups the right to demand that we comply with standards of behavior on their issues, whether it be what you may say in public, whether or not you may object to a police action without recrimination, whether or not you can own a firearm or carry a firearm. And so everybody has got their hand in the pot to try to get everybody else to kind of conform to their way of life. And that's what grants these bureaucracies, I believe, that's what grants these bureaucracies their life force.
I've often thought, Rich, that what we have to do is bring back America to America. And by that I mean bring back a Bill of Rights culture, so that every single existing piece of legislation or proposed legislation that violates the Bill of Rights is null and void. And I think that would do away with a lot of agencies.
You're preaching to the choir on that one. I happen to be, I'm a libertarian with a small L. I think that getting back to a simpler set of laws whereby Americans know when they are engaging in an illegal activity. Today, you don't even know whether or not the activity that you're involved in may violate some law. And I'm sure we all violate laws regularly and unknowingly. When you look at the alphabet soup of agencies that have regulations over our daily activity, there's virtually no activity that we engage in that isn't somehow regulated. But getting back to the nub of your point, a Bill of Rights test for every single law